Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
You know that recurring nightmare where you're giving a speech to a packed auditorium and halfway through your PowerPoint about quarterly projections, you realize you're stark naked? Yeah, well, imagine living that nightmare every single weekday for 6 months. Except instead of being naked, you're wearing a $200 Patagonia vest and pretending to understand what synergistic operational matrices means. Hi, I'm Chase, and I am a professional fraud. Not the kind that goes to federal prison, though some days I wonder if orange jumpsuits might be more comfortable than business casual. I'm the kind of fraud who stumbled into a director of operations role at a mid-sized tech company, despite having the operational expertise of a golden retriever with ADHD. It started as a dare. My college roommate Jake, 3 beers deep at a dive bar, bet me I couldn't land a job paying over 6 figures with nothing but confidence and a fabricated resume. Corporate America, he slurred, is just expensive theater. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. Challenge accepted. I spent that night Googling executive resume power words and seasoned my work history like I was preparing the world's most deceptive steak. Streamlined cross-functional deliverables. Spearheaded synergistic initiatives. Optimized stakeholder engagement protocols. I turned my 3-month stint at a sandwich shop into food service operations manager and my college group project into led multidisciplinary team through complex logistical challenges. The sad part? It worked. Darla from HR called me 2 days later. She sounded like she'd found the last unicorn in corporate America. Chase, your background is exactly what we've been searching for. Our last director had a sudden departure. Translation. The previous guy had what I now recognize as a stress-induced psychotic break and simply walked out during a Tuesday morning stand-up, leaving behind only his company laptop and what witnesses described as haunting laughter echoing down the hallway. The interview lasted exactly 14 minutes. I wore a navy Patagonia vest, apparently the corporate equivalent of camouflage, and nodded knowingly while Darla explained the role's multifaceted operational oversight responsibilities. I had no idea what that meant, but I said, "That's precisely the kind of challenge I thrive in." She hired me on the spot. I accepted before Googling what a director of operations actually does. Spoiler alert, it's complicated. My first week was like being dropped into an escape room designed by sadistic business school graduates. People kept launching acronyms at me like verbal grenades. Chase, can you review the KPI dashboard? The ERP integration needs your sign-off. Where do we stand on Q3 SLAs? I developed what I call the corporate nod and deflect technique. Lean forward slightly, furrow your brow thoughtfully, and deploy one of these magical phrases. Let me circle back on that. I want to socialize this with the broader team first. Can we put a pin in that until after the quarterly review? It's like having a cheat code for conversations you're completely unqualified to participate in. The company's operational software looked like it was designed by aliens who had only heard vague descriptions of human business processes. Every screen had 17 different colored tabs, drop-down menus within drop-down menus, and warning messages written in what I can only assume was corporate Sanskrit. I spent my first month clicking random buttons and hoping nothing exploded. Surprisingly, this strategy worked about 70% of the time. Week 3 brought my first real crisis. Jordan, a senior analyst with the dead-eyed stare of someone who'd survived multiple corporate restructurings, appeared in my office doorway holding a spreadsheet like a weapon. Chase, something's wrong with the variance report. Did you actually review these numbers? I stared at the spreadsheet. It might as well have been hieroglyphics. Jordan, I said, channeling every ounce of false confidence I possessed. I am the variance. He blinked, paused, then burst into laughter. Oh my God, you're actually insane. I love it. He walked away. And I still don't know if I'd passed some kind of test or accidentally confessed to corporate negligence. By month 2, I'd perfected what I now call aggressive delegation. Any question I couldn't answer became someone else's opportunity for professional growth. That's a great point, Susan. Why don't you run with that and report back? I'm interested in your perspective on this, Michael. Take the lead. This feels like something the team should own. I don't want to micromanage. Turns out, People love being told they're trusted with important decisions, even when the person trusting them has no idea what those decisions actually involve. The breakthrough came during a particularly brutal quarterly planning session. Regional managers were arguing about resource allocation, and everyone kept looking at me expectantly. I had no idea what they were talking about, so I said, "I think we're missing the forest for the trees here. Let's step back and examine the fundamental question. Are we optimizing for efficiency or impact?" The room went silent, then nodding. Vigorous nodding. "That's exactly what I was thinking," said Patricia from the West Coast office. I wasn't thinking anything. I was internally screaming, but they ate it up. Suddenly I was strategic and big-picture-oriented. The fact that I couldn't read a basic profit and loss statement became evidence of my visionary leadership style. Month 4 brought the first real threat to my elaborate charade. A junior analyst named Kevin started slacking me at weird hours with increasingly pointed questions. "Hey, Chase, noticed some inconsistencies in the Q2 projections. The numbers in your strategy deck don't match the departmental reports. Are you using last year's data, and is this from a different company?" I told him it was a stress test. "I wanted to see who was actually paying attention to the details, Kevin. Well done." He seemed satisfied, or maybe just confused enough to stop asking questions. The real test came when our company got acquired by a massive corporate conglomerate. The new executive team wanted full visibility into operational strategy and leadership philosophy. They scheduled a board presentation for me to explain my innovative approach to operations management. I considered every possible escape route: food poisoning, family emergency, witness protection program. But Jordan, who had become my unofficial corporate translator, pulled me aside. "They think you're playing some kind of long game," he said. "Like you're testing them or something. You've got one shot to either commit to the bit or completely flame out. What do you think I should do? Go bigger. If you're going to lie, lie so boldly that it becomes truth." So I did the most audacious thing possible. I walked into that boardroom and recommended they eliminate my entire position. "After extensive analysis," I announced, "I believe the operations director role represents an unnecessary layer of bureaucracy. We should flatten the hierarchy and empower individual teams to own their operational excellence." Darla looked like I'd suggested burning down the building, but the new executives, they loved it. Revolutionary thinking. Exactly the kind of innovation we need. Disrupting traditional management paradigms. They eliminated my position, gave me a 6-month severance package, and wrote me a glowing recommendation letter praising my selfless commitment to organizational efficiency. I had successfully fired myself and made them grateful for the privilege. Jordan called me that night. "You magnificent bastard," he said. "You just convinced a room full of executives that your incompetence was actually genius-level strategic thinking." "I still don't know what I'm doing." "That's what made it perfect. You were so authentically clueless that it looked like confidence." Now I'm consulting, which is corporate speak for temporarily between elaborate deceptions. I help companies optimize their operational frameworks, which mostly involves making PowerPoint presentations with stock photos of people in suits shaking hands in front of abstract geometric shapes. The dark truth about corporate America? Half the people in those conference rooms are just as lost as I was. They're all performing competence, hoping nobody notices they're improvising their way through spreadsheets and strategy sessions. The difference is I was honest about being a fraud, which, paradoxically, made me more authentic than people who actually knew what they were doing. My Patagonia vest hangs in my closet now, a polyester monument to the most successful failure of my professional life. Sometimes I put it on and practice saying things like, "Let's unpack that," and "I'm seeing some interesting synergies here," because you never know when you might need to fake being indispensable again. The key, I've learned, is not to fake expertise. It's to fake the confidence that comes with expertise. And if you're going to be a fraud, be the kind of fraud who makes everyone else feel better about their own elaborate performances. After all, we're all just pretending we know what we're doing. Some of us are just more honest about it.